What if I told you the most dangerous weapon in professional tennis is not built from massive muscle, but from the physics of a cold alpine wind? I am Sebastian, and this is the injury breakdown. Look at him, Jannik Sinner. Standing 6 feet 3 inches tall but weighing a mere 170 pounds. By every traditional metric of power, he should be overmatched. Yet, he is firing forehands at 78 miles per hour, crushing the tour average by 5 miles per hour. He is generating topspin that exceeds 3,000 revolutions per minute. As a physical therapist, this immediately raises a red flag for me. Where is all this power coming from if not from muscle mass? This is what I call the skinny power paradox. A bodybuilder possesses the raw force, but Sinner possesses the physics of a whip. And from a biomechanical standpoint, this changes everything. If you put a world-class bodybuilder on a baseline, they would likely struggle to move, let alone strike. Why? Because of a principle called the moment of inertia. Now let me break this down for you. Think of a figure skater pulling their arms in to spin faster. The tighter they pull, the faster they spin. Sinner's lean frame works the same way. Less mass to rotate means more speed to generate. In my clinic, I see this principle every day. Patients with excessive muscle mass often struggle with rotational mobility. Sinner's body minimizes this resistance completely, but that is just the baseline. To understand how a kid who weighed only 77 pounds at age 13 became a giant slayer, we have to look at his origin story. And trust me, as someone who analyzes athletic development, this one is fascinating. One variable no one calculated was the Italian Alps. Before he was a tennis prodigy, Sinner was a junior skiing champion. At age 8, he won the Italian national championship in giant slalom. At age 13, he faced a brutal choice: the slopes or the court. He walked away from skiing because he hated that months of training came down to a single 90-second downhill run where one mistake meant total failure. Tennis offered him something skiing never could: time to recover from an error. But here is what excites me as a performance analyst. He did not leave the mountains empty-handed. He brought with him an elite level of proprioception. Now, proprioception is one of my favorite topics to discuss. Think of it as your body's internal GPS, allowing you to know exactly where your limbs are without looking at them. It is why you can touch your nose with your eyes closed. When I assess athletes, proprioceptive ability is one of the strongest predictors of injury resilience. Sinner's skiing trained this system to near Olympic levels before he ever picked up a tennis racket seriously. Can a childhood on skis actually dictate a Grand Slam victory? From my professional perspective, absolutely. The answer is in his feet. Watch Sinner between points. He obsessively avoids stepping on the service lines or the baseline marks. This is not just superstition. It is a neurological ghost of his past. His brain is still navigating ski gates at 40 kilometers per hour, demanding precision in every step. Here is something interesting. Novak Djokovic also credits his skiing background for his exceptional lateral movement. As a physical therapist who has studied both athletes extensively, the correlation is undeniable. The Alps created more than one champion. Now let me get technical for a moment, because this is where it gets really interesting. This skiing background allows Sinner to handle massive ground reaction forces. In biomechanics, we measure these forces relative to body weight. Elite tennis players can generate forces up to 5 times their body weight during explosive movements. Sinner is using the earth as a battery, charging his legs and then releasing that energy upward through what we call the kinetic chain. Think of it like cracking a whip. The handle moves slowly, but the tip breaks the sound barrier. Sinner's legs are the handle. His racket is the tip. When I teach this concept to my patients, I always emphasize that power does not start in the arm. It starts in the ground. And Sinner understands this instinctively. But even the most efficient machine needs a spark. And this is where we get into the biological price tag of his evolution. Sinner uses a mechanism called the stretch shortening cycle, or SSC. As a physical therapist, I work with this principle constantly in rehabilitation. Think of pulling back a slingshot. The longer you pull, the more energy stores. Sinner's tendons work the same way. He creates what we call an eccentric preload by dropping low and rotating his hips past his shoulders. His tendons, the biological bridge between muscle and bone, store this elastic energy like coiled springs. Here is the key insight. He is not hitting the ball with muscle. He is hitting it with tension. This is why his backhand speed reached 75 miles per hour on clay courts, making it one of the fastest on tour. But from an injury prevention standpoint, this efficiency comes with significant risk. Does this extreme efficiency have a breaking point? We found it in May of 2024, and this is exactly why I created this channel. Sinner withdrew from the Madrid Open with a crisis in his right hip. His injury forced him to miss the Italian Open as well, disappointing home crowds. Now, let me explain what likely happened from a clinical perspective. Think of this like a door hinge that has a pebble stuck inside it, causing the metal to grind and wear down every time you open it. The hip joint requires a delicate balance between mobility and stability. Because Sinner is so lean, he has minimal muscular buffer around his joints. In physical therapy, we call this dynamic stabilization. While players with heavier builds have additional muscle mass to absorb and distribute forces, Sinner is operating on a razor's edge. His long skeletal levers, those same levers that generate his incredible power, amplify the torque on his joints with every single swing. This is the trade-off that keeps me up at night as a performance analyst. This leads us to a chilling realization that I want you to really understand. Is Sinner's greatest strength also his ultimate undoing? His power is what I call skinny power, built on leverage and velocity rather than hypertrophy. Now, hypertrophy simply means muscle growth through training. Think of it as adding more floors to a skyscraper to make it stronger. Most athletes get powerful by building bigger muscles. Sinner did not add floors. He just made the elevator faster. His 2024 backhand averages 73 miles per hour, which is 7 miles per hour faster than the tour average of 66 miles per hour. But here is what concerns me clinically. That speed generates a massive toll on his connective tissues. Tendons, ligaments, and cartilage do not recover as quickly as muscles. He has already faced wrist stress, elbow trauma, and recurrent cramping. As a physical therapist, these are warning signs I cannot ignore. How does he keep his composure while his body is under such immense mechanical stress? The secret lies in what I call his mental architecture. And honestly, this aspect fascinates me just as much as his biomechanics. Sinner often tells his team that the pressure of a Grand Slam final is nothing compared to the real-life stress of a person who has to work to bring home food for their family. This perspective comes from his parents. His father Hans-Peter worked as a chef. His mother Siglinda worked as a waitress. They worked long shifts in a remote ski lodge while he grew up. He learned independence by coming home to an empty house and organizing his own life at age 13. Here is a fact most people do not know that I find remarkable. Sinner wears contact lenses and has said he cannot even see the ball without them. Think about that. A world number one who literally cannot see without corrective lenses. He is not just a tennis player, he is a product of mountain discipline and quiet determination. Now here is something that might seem random, but actually connects to everything we have discussed. The carrots. The carota phenomenon began in Vienna when he bit into a whole raw carrot during a changeover instead of the usual banana. It was a casual snack that spawned a global cult of fans dressed as giant carrots. The Carota Boys, as they call themselves, have traveled from Italy to Paris to New York to Melbourne to cheer him on. But from a nutrition standpoint, this actually makes sense. Carrots are high in beta-carotene and provide quick energy without the sugar spike of a banana. Even his snack choices reflect his unconventional approach to performance. His father's recipes, like porcini risotto and ragu, are the fuel that bridges his identity as an elite athlete with his beginnings in a remote alpine restaurant. He speaks 3 languages fluently: German, Italian, and English. But his body speaks the language of pure physics. So we are left with one final question that I want you to consider. Can a normal person with a big dream redefine the limits of human physiology? Sinner has evolved remarkably, gaining over 90 pounds since he was 13. His first serve speed reaches up to 128 miles per hour on crucial points. He is the only player since Roger Federer in 2005 to complete an entire season without a single straight set defeat. He has optimized his body for short-term power and movement economy. But as he enters his mid-20s, the skinny power model faces its greatest test: durability. As a physical therapist, here is my professional assessment. Sinner stands at a crossroads. Will he build the muscle mass needed to protect his joints and extend his career into his 30s? Or will he maintain the lean efficiency that made him #1, risking the very levers that built his empire? The next few years will answer this question. His training staff, his physical therapists, and his own body awareness will determine whether we are watching the beginning of a dynasty or the peak of a brilliant but potentially short career. What do you think? Should Sinner add muscle mass for longevity or maintain his current physique for maximum performance? Let me know in the comments below. I am Sebastian. This has been the Injury Breakdown, and I will see you in the next one.